This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
The master plan to move the entire University of Tasmania Newnham campus to Inverresc has been officially released. The community is now being encouraged to have its say on the plan before construction begins.
A bird's-eye view of what could soon be Launceston's university hub. Just weeks after new concept graphics were released, today the University of Tasmania, alongside the state and federal governments, officially unveiled its $260 million Newnham to Inverresc relocation plan.
Today is the day when Launceston takes the first step towards becoming a university city, when we place knowledge and human excellence at the heart of what Launceston will be for the next 100 years.
The master plan has been years in the making. It includes the construction of multiple buildings across Inverresc and one off Boland Street, all linked in by a footbridge.
It's the single largest infrastructure project in the north of the state ever.
This is important because universities attract jobs, they attract investment, they attract businesses, they attract visitors, and they attract, most importantly, opportunity.
The public will be able to have a say on the proposed development over the next month. Car parking has been an issue raised in the past. The master plan reveals there will be a new 500 spaces under the Willis Street building and up to 750 spaces off Forster Street in Invermay, where the Esk Market is currently held.
But also we need to look at people changing their behaviour in some way, shape and form, and we want more people to get on their bikes, to come to university on your bike, and that's a possibility.
The university hopes to submit its development application to council in the next 5 months. If all goes to plan, construction could then begin by the end of next year. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
A $90 million resort that's being described as a game changer for the state's northwest coast has been given the green light. The Waratah Wynyard Council last night voted unanimously to approve plans for a luxury resort to be built on Table Cape. The development includes 50 rooms, a 250-seat restaurant and a day spa. Construction is expected to begin in 2019 and take 2 years. The council says 116 full-time jobs will be created during construction and there will be 80 ongoing positions once completed. The state government says analysis by Infrastructure Tasmania that has been reviewed by independent engineering firm Pitt & Sherry proves its accelerated plan to upgrade water and sewage infrastructure is achievable. It comes as TasWater's owners continue to question the legality of the government's hostile takeover, with legislation expected in Parliament as early as August.
We've been advised that there are no impediments to doing what we're doing, that it's lawful, and that once the legislation is released, people will understand very clearly exactly how this is going to occur.
Treasurer Peter Gutwin is expected to formally release Infrastructure Tasmania's advice tomorrow. A man charged over a fatal crash at Newtown has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter. Zach Muir-Bennett is charged over the June crash, which killed 42-year-old Vanessa Claire Hayward. Today, in the Hobart Magistrates Court, he denied the manslaughter charge and was committed to appear in the Supreme Court in September. Plans to build a new multi-million-dollar visitor centre at Cradle Mountain will tonight be discussed by the Kentish Council. The Parks and Wildlife Service submitted the development application for the facility, which includes a proposed restaurant, cafe and other support services. One representation was received from the Tasmanian National Parks Association. The group is concerned about the height of the centre and the potential of glass reflecting onto visitors in the World Heritage Area. The council meeting will start at 7 o'clock. The Cradle Mountain development is the first planning matter on the agenda. Welcome back. Much of Hobart was lost in fog this morning, particularly heavy and low cloud moved down the Derwent, restricting visibility. The Tasman Bridge was covered, making it seemingly disappear. It led to a warning from police saying it was foggier than a Beyoncé music video. But on a serious note, authorities urged motorists to switch on their headlights and drive to the conditions. Two of Tasmania's best firefighters are heading to Canada tonight to help control wildfires that have forced 40,000 people from their homes. They'll join a 50-strong Australian contingent near the front line as 160 fires continue to rage across the western province of British Columbia.
The mercury may be nudging zero here, but our Commonwealth cousins in Canada are in the summertime fight of their lives. The Canadian government issuing an international SOS, seeking fireys who specialise in tall timber blazes.
Those flames are like 30 feet high. And I thought I wasn't actually going to get out that one time because it was all around me.
We're not evacuated yet, we're just on the alert, but, you know, it's going to be not very long, there's going to be nowhere to go.
Local fire behaviour analyst Rochelle Richards and incident controller Neil Brooksbank are two Tasmanians who are answering the call. Flying out today, they'll join around 50 other personnel from across Australia being sent in to Canada's west, where hundreds of wildfires have been burning for months.
There's much more ladder fuel, so that's the fuel that takes the fire from the surface of the ground up into the canopy of the trees. So yeah, you could more likely see crowning wildfires in Canada than we would see here.
TFS Chief Officer Chris Arnold says there may be further calls for assistance with the knowledge and experience gained helping local brigades when the summer fire season starts at home.
We've got set arrangements where we get feedback as the deployment closes and comes back. They'll provide feedback locally in Canada and then we'll have another debrief back here in Australia.
The deployment is expected to last up to 6 weeks. Andrew McCarthy, Southern Cross News.
Benefits from the AFL's new Women's League are trickling down to Tasmania. 5 times as many females are attending this year's tryouts for an elite development program which helps both male and female prospects reach the top leagues.
Footballs reverberate between these junior hopefuls. Today, their speed and skills are being tested using equipment worth around $10,000. The trials, run by North Melbourne, are now in their second year, but the big difference this time around is a surge in interest from future female stars, from 35 girls last year to more than 200 now.
I think it's really good how they have a women's league. I really want to do it when I'm older.
And I think with the inclusion of the AFLW, it's just given them an opportunity to participate and try their hand at football, which is great.
North Melbourne is still fighting for its own AFLW side, but in preparation for the top level, the most talented from these trials will be able to join the club's junior academy.
An 8-week program where they'll receive elite coaching and off-field development.
An on-field future is not the only reason behind all this. The Kangaroos say these sessions can inspire other ideas, like becoming an umpire or working in sports management.
If they can't see themselves in the game from a young age, they, I guess, think that it's a little bit out of reach.
Would you like to get to that top level one day and play some AFL?
Yeah, that's basically my dream.
Another session will be held at North Hobart Oval this Thursday. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Efforts to save the Tasmanian devil have been dealt a blow, with 3 vaccinated devils contracting the devastating facial tumour disease. While it's a setback for finding a cure, it's not all bad news. Wildlife authorities say other devils released into the wild have started breeding.
They're one of Tasmania's most iconic species and the victims in a fight against a devastating disease. But today it's been confirmed efforts to save the Tasmanian devil have hit a setback.
It is a formidable disease, without a doubt. There's lots of twists and turns, try to understand it, and every time you discover something, you discover you need to know something else.
As part of the Wild Devil Recovery Project, 33 animals were released at Stony Head east of Georgetown in 2016. They had been immunised against the facial tumour disease with a trial vaccination, and they showed positive signs of an immune response. But routine monitoring recently uncovered small tumour growths on 3 of them.
They are on the lips in 2 cases and on the palate in another case, and small, 3 or 4 millimetres across.
The affected devils will be left in the wild and their welfare monitored, with euthanasia an option if their condition deteriorates.
We're not exactly sure why they've developed tumours, so we're going to analyse that. Clearly the vaccination isn't 100% effective, but we'll do more research to analyse these tumour samples to determine why
But there's been a positive development in another aspect of the project, with released devils helping to spread much-needed genetic diversity.
There's at least 44 imps, as I call them, or joeys, in the pouches of their mums. So we've been effective in creating a larger population.
Look, to hear about devils being born in the wild is always going to be exciting for us. I mean, we get excited when we breed a devil here. So to hear figures like devils doubling in numbers in some areas, it's an exceptional step forward and an extremely exciting one.
Giving this endangered species a fighting chance. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
And now a look at business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has lost ground as the big banks were sold off and the Australian dollar's surge above 79 US cents hit exporters. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 68.1 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 79.18 US cents and 107.62 New Zealand cents.
From the highs of being drafted into the AFL to the lows of being plagued by injury and cut from the system, Zach Webster has experienced a rollercoaster few years in the game. But thanks to some blistering recent form and his side hitting its stride at the right time of the TSL season, Webster says he's finally enjoying his football once again. Like many promising young players before him, Webster's AFL dream was cut short due to injury. Delisted from Hawthorn at the end of last season, his love for the game was also in danger of fading out before a move back home saw the beginning of a new chapter in his footballing life.
Yeah, I'm loving it at the moment. It's easier when we're getting a few wins and the boys are playing really well and everyone's up and about. So, yeah, I couldn't be happier at the moment.
Signing with Glenorchy at the start of the TSL season, Webster is now integral to the club's hopes of back-to-back flags, thanks to his ability to rack up possessions across the midfield or drift forward and contribute on the scoreboard, which he showcased during the Pies' 23-point win over Premiership favourites Clarence on the weekend.
Clarence have been the team to beat. That was only the second game they've lost all season, so it gives the boys a lot of confidence that we can match it with the top teams.
The side face another big test in North Launceston this weekend, but after booting their way back into contention in spectacular fashion, Webster and the Pies aren't shying away.
All the boys have got the belief that we can go back to back, and as long as we believe it, then I think we can achieve it.
And the 21-year-old says he's not only back playing with the same passion that saw him picked up in the 2014 AFL rookie draft, but he's finally able to take to the field without fear of injury constantly at the back of his mind.
If my body holds up, then who knows? I'd love to get back in the AFL system one day, but at the moment I'm just taking it week by week and just trying to enjoy my footy and doing the best I can for the club.
As to whether he'd ever consider a switch to another TSL club?
I reckon it's just Glenorchy the whole way.
Cricket Tasmania has welcomed its latest recruit amongst its organisation restructure, with former New South Wales Sheffield Shield and current BBL Sydney Thunder player Ben Rohrer to take up the position of talent manager.
Wipe the slate clean from what's happened the last couple of years, and runs and wickets are going to be your currency in Tasmanian cricket this year. So looking forward to seeing the boys get behind that and getting rewarded for their performances.
Rohrer says his number one priority is developing young local talent rather than searching for interstate superstars.
One of the main goals we've been speaking to them about is not just being happy being first-class cricketer, we want guys that are looking to play for Australia.
Rohrer is contracted to play for the Sydney Thunder this Big Bash season, so won't have any involvement with the Hobart Hurricanes.
Good evening. Hobart, Launceston and Devonport 13 today. Burnie recorded a high of 14, but the top was 16 at Friendly Beaches. On another cloudy day, a few showers and valley fog over the southeast and Derwent Valley. Flinders Island 15, King Island, Wynyard and St Helens 14, Low Head and Maria Island 13, Strawn and Campania 12, Grove 10, Maydena 9. There is middle and upper level cloud that's over southeast Australia, with more over the eastern bight surrounding a low pressure zone to our west. There is cloud further west again under a high pressure ridge with another frontal system south of WA. The close-up shows extensive cloud covering Tasmania, that small low pressure zone just to the west off Cape Grim. Tomorrow the high builds over Western Tasmania behind the trough, a high becomes more dominant over the mainland and the low over WA intensifies. South to southwesterly winds at 20 to 30 knots extending throughout during the morning. They'll tend west to southwesterly later with swells at 3.5 metres. Strong wind warning current for all Tasmanian coastal waters and also a small craft wind alert for the Central Plateau Lakes. Hobart tomorrow, a few showers and 11, just 10 for Geeveston. Bothwell only 9 degrees with a few showers. Launceston, morning fog, 2 overnight, 13 the top, 13 the high for Devonport, fine but partly cloudy. A possible shower though for Cressy and a high of 12 degrees. Burnie, a possible late shower, 13 the top, 11 for Strawn. And Curry, shower or two easing, 13 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, partly cloudy, 13, maybe a shower for Swansea on 12 and Orford, 11. On Thursday, showers over the west and south extending to the east during the afternoon. Partly cloudy on Friday, morning frost and fog, and showers developing on Saturday over the north and west, but mainly fine elsewhere until much later. Showers for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow. A cold day for Canberra, fine for Sydney, Brisbane and points further north.